Hey everybody. Um, Unfortunately, the McIvy family lost all of their cattle to a huge storm that came, and they had to huddle up on the top of this Indian mound. And basically, when they looked all across where they were on top of this mound, all the cows were gone. They could barely see the wagon. Not a good thing. But they worked so hard to get those 148 cows, but Tobias does not sound like he's going to stop. It sounds like he's going to keep going. So let's see what happens next. We're in the spring of 1868. So now, let's see. We started in 63, so 5 years later, Zek was 6, so now Zek is 11. Is that right? All right. You guys could correct my math if I'm wrong. So Tobias stood at the corral gate listening to the popping of whips far in the distance. Then came a faint sound like the drone of bees. He felt a trembling in the ground. He watched intensely as the little tiny black specks grew larger and formed a small herd of cows thundering straight toward him. When he could see their horns point upward, he opened the gate and moved off hurriedly to the side of the corral. Zek turned at the last possible moment and just missed crashing headlong into the rails when Ishmael started bucking and kicking as if to show the cows who had won the race. Nip and Tuck ran around in circles and they plopped to the ground, panting. Tobias came back, closed the gate. Zek and Skillet calmed their horses and dismounted. Skillet said, Mr. Zek, you don't quit running that little horse flat out like that. You're going to go right over a cow's back one of these days. Oh, he wasn't wide open, Zek said. I let him go. He'd be a mile out in front of those cows. Oh, if I'd let him go, he'd have been a mile out in front of those cows. He just likes to run in real close and bite their hind legs like Nip and Tuck. Tobias was busy counting. He said, This sure beats one-on-one in the swamp. Must be over 30 in that bunch. It pains me just to think about how we used to spend a whole day trying to catch one cow, and the most likely he'd get away. We got all we can handle now. Soon as this bunch is marked, we're going to round up the whole herd and pen them for a final count, and then we'll get started. How long do you figure it'll take us to drive all them cows to Punta Rasa? Skillet asked. I don't rightly know, but we'll do it like we done with the herd we lost. We'll go real slow and let them graze on the way. Time we get there, they ought to be nice and fattened up and in good shape. Well, I sure hope we make it there this time. I got a little something to spend. I need a new pair of breeches real bad. These I got are about to fall apart. Breeches or pants, like he lost from the alligator. They done got patches on patches, and they ain't nothing more Miss Emma can do for them. And there's something else I need to do and see about too. What's that? Sorry, moving my laptop. What's that? Tobias asked curiously. I better not say, Skillet replied, grinning. They might not have none, so I best wait and see. What I want is a pair of boots. We sell them cows, everybody gets boots, and a Dutch oven for Emma. Or maybe one of them spank new wood cook stoves. She ain't never had one of them. What about you, Zek? Zek thought for a moment and said, I think I want a sack of apples for me and Ishmael. You reckon they got apples over there, Papa? I reckon, but is that all you want? Well, maybe a brush, too. Then I could brush Ishmael down and make him look real shiny. He's never had a chance to look his best, and I know it would make him feel good. We'll do it, Tobias said, slapping Zek on the shoulder. We'll get it all. Breeches, boots, ovens, apples, brushes, and maybe whatever else Skillet's got on his mind. But right now, we best stop spending money we ain't got and get on Brandon. We got a few calves in with this bunch, and we need to get them back to their mama so they can eat. Let's get them cows marked and them cows mammied up. The calves mammied up, Skillet shouted enthusiastically. These old britches might not hold up until we get to Punta Rasa. Then I'd be in worse fix than what that old gator had done to me. I'd have to stay hid in the woods and miss all the fun, and I sure wouldn't like that. When they reached the homestead later that afternoon, Zek and Skillet took a bundle of raccoon hides down to the river to hail one of the boats. Another stern wheeler had been put into service. It's called the Osceola, and they had sold the boatmen enough venison and hides to purchase supplies for the trip to Punta Rasa. Emma was at the cooking pot when Tobias came inside and sat at the table. He said to her, You figure we got enough of everything to make this trip? We done branded the last bunch, so we'll be ready to leave soon. Oh, we can make do. You might have to shoot meat along the way. It's getting too hot to carry along much meat, even if it is smoked. How long have the supplies have to last? Well, at least a few weeks. That time I helped drive the cows for the Confederates, we went a fair piece in 2 weeks, and this ought not to be much further. Emma put down the spoon and sat at the table. That's what worries me, Tobias. When you went on that drive, you were with men who had been there before. They knew where they were going. They knew how long it was going to take. Now you don't. And there were a lot of men. Zek is not a man, Tobias. I know he tries to act like one instead of a boy, but he is a boy. It's really just you and Skillet. Tobias remained silent for a moment, and he said, "You're right, Emma, and I know it. It worries me, too. We got over 700 cows. That's more than we herded for the army with 7 men. Lord, what would 3 of us do if we ran into something like a pack of wolves? But I don't know what else to do. We just gotta sell the cows. It's our only chance." "Well, why don't you find some help? There's got to be a lot of men somewhere who need work. Didn't Mr. Thompson tell you there's men everywhere who are hungry and looking for anything to do? You could just try to get help up at Kissimmee. That is the closest place." "Yeah, he did say that, but I don't have any money to pay drovers, and nobody works for free." "We'll pay them at the end of the drive. That would make them want to get the herd there as much as you. If we lose the herd with just the 3 of you, we end up with nothing again. Seems to me that paying a few wages is better than risking nothing at all." Tobias smiled. "You know, Emma, you got a heap more sense than me. This family would fall apart without you. It just might work. I could promise to pay them when I sell the cattle and feed them along the way. If a man's hungry enough, he'll go for it. It's worth a try." Emma was pleased that he agreed. "I just fear for the 3 of you trying it alone. Zek would kill himself for you if need be, but he's just a boy." "I'll go to Kissimmee at daybreak tomorrow. I ain't never been there, but I can find it. All I do is follow the river. As soon as I come back with help, we'll be on our way." He took her hand in his and says, "You're the only McIvy with brains, Emma, except Zek. You and Zek. Me, I'm just a dumb old coot, and I know it. I'm as dumb as that army horse running in a straight line at full speed ahead without looking where I'm going. It's going to get me busted wide open, and all of you too." "Oh, that isn't so, Tobias," she said gently. "Hadn't been for you, we'd still be in Georgia, probably starved to death by now. Wouldn't many men strike out like you did. And like you always say, we're gonna make it somehow. Now you just go and you look for them drovers." All right, but we'll stop there. That's a long chapter. So that's about the middle of the chapter. So he's gonna go look for some guys to help him. So it's not just the 3 of them with Emma going across the state. All right. Well, happy Wednesday. I hope you guys will come Friday and pick up your stuff so I can see you and say hello. All right. I'll talk to you soon.